I was an early innovator, changing the way we produce food in this country. And the pig has only one testicle, so he's got to go.
Like this, there you go. Could happen.
He always talks about the gift of fight. You have to have fight inside of you, and my daddy has fight.
It's time to meet the new pioneers transforming farming and food. These extraordinary women and men are revitalizing the soil, restoring the environment, and protecting wildlife, essential elements of Mother Nature. Prepare to be surprised as we discover one of the most crucial movements dedicated to making our world a better place. It's time to meet our farm heroes. Well, we're here today at Oak Pastures in Bluffton, Georgia, and I'm with Will Harris. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for being here.
My main mission today, just so you know, is to listen to you and to learn from you. Book, life-changing.
I think that consumers have been intentionally kept uninformed about how we produce food because it's not pretty.
Corn, the golden treasure of farmers in Iowa.
Since World War II, all the emphasis in food production has been cheap. It hadn't been make it good. And the messaging is very impactful. Anything can be spun in a manner that's attractive to the consumer. My dad, granddad, great-granddad farmed this land. My children are farming it. There's a high likelihood one of my grandchildren will come back and farm it.
You know, when you Google, when you AI, top regenerative agriculture voices on the planet, like literally you put that in, you know, you get the various people, but Will Harris comes up time and time again, top 3. How does that feel to know that your dad, you, your family are having such an impact on agriculture across the planet?
Being Will Harris's daughter is a very special thing. I was raised in a very different way. You know, even in those early years, I remember my dad dropping me off for pre-K, and he said, "All right, now have fun and kick the mean little people in the shin." And I remember thinking, that's kind of not what you hear.
Wait, this is pre-K?
This is pre-K, so I was 3 or 4.
There's a special sauce about your dad, your family. Do you see that?
Oh yeah, very much so. And daddy, yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think that is? Is it his, I mean, because from what I see is persistence, intelligence, competence, and kindness. That's what surprised me the most about your father.
Got the kindness? Well, he always talks about the gift of fight, and you have to have fight inside of you, and my daddy has fight. He has always fought for what he has, and he has taught Jeannie and I that very same thing. And I think that is what has gotten him. And he has the gift of being a visionary. I think only very few people are visionaries. I do. I don't think there's near as many as people think there are. You know, I think Dad has been given the gift of being a visionary.
Did you have like an aha moment? Like, my dad is
a badass. Yeah. I've always known, I think as a child, just by the way I mean, Jenny and I have been going to work with him our whole life. So I've watched him in work settings, you know, being the boss. So I think I've always known that. But when I look at Bluffton and, you know, what he's done here, it's a whole nother, you know, topping on the sauce, you know. It's totally.
I had inherited a nice farm, and we were a monocultural cattle farm, and we were pretty good at it. So we always made a little money. At the time I made the decision 25 years ago, well, I risked everything I have to get to change this farm from the very industrial monocultural operation it was that my dad put together and that I ran for 20 years. But when I made the decision to change it, and I did that fairly abruptly, there was a lot of naivety. I thought I'd be okay. We'd always make money, but we didn't. We lost the money for a while. It's been a roller coaster. I was an early innovator, changing the way we produce food in this country. We were the first farm to sell grass-fed beef to Publix and Whole Foods Market. And we were able to sell all we could produce at a really good margin. And we got a little drunk on success. We expanded very, very quickly.
So the demand was there.
The demand was great, but there weren't that many people shopping for it. But those that were shopping for it wanted it, and then nobody really had it available. Did well for a while. Thought it would last forever, but it didn't. USDA changed the rule in 2015. Previously, the animal had to be born, raised, and slaughtered in the United States to be product of the USA.
And after 2015?
They changed the rules so that if value was added in the United States, it could be product of the USA.
Their values such as what?
It's pretty vague. So it opened the door so that animals born, raised, and slaughtered in other countries could come in as product of the USA. I'm sorry, this young lady's an intern. I'm sorry.
Hi. Hi. What is your name? Tori. Tori, nice to meet you. I'm Laura.
She's here. She's getting a pig for roasting they're having.
Okay.
And the pig has only one testicle, so he's got to go.
What happened with the other testicle?
It's probably up there, but it hasn't dropped. But I don't want to keep him for breeding.
Oh, got it.
So these are breeding sows. We move them around out here. With the hog impact on land is positive if it's not overdone.
Okay.
A little bit of impact is good, too much is not good. These houses you see are an obsolete piece of cotton harvest equipment. We are able to buy them for scrap iron prices, and we trick them out with the roofs on.
So how many head are out here? Do you call it hog's head, like cattle
Yeah,
head?
there's probably 800 or 900 here. We got 2 other sets on the farm. Probably a couple of thousand total in inventory.
So all this acreage is dedicated to the hog.
Today it is. We will not over-impact it. We'll let the hogs have it, impact it to the point we are satisfied with it. And they may not be there again for 2 or 3 years.
Oh, wow. That's the recovery time.
That's a recovery time.
Okay.
I'm not particularly jealous of the decision a consumer makes on where to source their food. I just want them to have factual information to base that decision. I want to be able to look at the package and say, product of USA, that means it was born and raised and processed in this country. Sadly, the burden is on the consumer to know what they're buying. We went from being a very profitable little company, a small company, but profitable, and to having some years that weren't very good. The pandemic was a game changer for us. We had started an online business, and during the pandemic, it really just opened up, and we sold our stuff. In this past year, we sold more product online than we sold wholesale at the grocery store.
If you could taste the suffering, the choice would probably be different. So ever since I read that in here, I think about it. So do you feel like consumers just accept it as it is, or they just don't know?
Consumers don't know, and I'll take it a step further. I'll say that producers, farmers, really don't have the appreciation. You know, when I was an industrial monocultural cattleman, and I would have told you that my animal welfare was above reproach. It wasn't, but I thought it was. I believed that if animals were kept well-fed, well-watered, in a comfortable temperature range, and no physical pain inflicted on them, that's good. During that 20 years I did that, if you told me my animal welfare wasn't good, I would have taken issue with it. But it wasn't. The animal needs to be given the opportunity to express instinctive behavior. You know, when I had my cattle shut up in a feedlot, on mud when it was wet and dust when it was dry, no vegetation out there, feeding them corn or whatever in a trough. I thought that was great animal welfare. But cattle are meant to roam and graze. It's just instinctive behavior. Chickens are meant to scratch and peck. It's instinctive behavior. Hogs are meant to root and wallow. It's instinctive behavior. And in the industrial, monocultural animal production system, we deprive them of that. I felt it was my job to raise the animal, give it the best life it could give, express instinctive behavior, and then give it a quick, humane death in readiness for the next crop. And that just seems so natural and normal to me.
How much do they weigh when they go to slaughter?
1,200
pounds. From grass. Like, to think about the beauty of that, the design of that this animal can just eat grass, regenerate the soil, and grow. And then we can take the animal, and part of nature, we eat it. We get the benefits of eating the red meat and what they ate.
In nature, we've got many different cycles operating in symbiotic relationships with each other. There's the energy cycle from the sun, the water cycle from the rain, the mineral cycle in the ground, the microbial cycle. The grazing cycle is part of it. All the cycles of nature have got to be operating optimally for it to work. Now, I believe that if I do the right things while I'm here, then good things will come from that. If I do many wrong things, then the adversity will come from that.
Okay. All right. So where are we now, Will?
You're in a little pasture that's got a weed problem. And we got a weed problem, they call in the goats. Hogs will eat some of them, cattle will eat some of them, goats will eat a lot of them.
As far as everything we see here, will they eat everything, or do they?
They eat everything I see here. I wish we could harvest something 52 weeks a year. That's a little lofty, but as many of the weeks as possible. That's something we can use in our store, use in our restaurant, use in our online business. And my hope is that my children and grandchildren will embrace this that we're starting. I think it'll be another excellent income-producing stream for them at some point. See, I didn't even know they planted some peaches, the filling there. Those are bananas there. These varieties of bananas are not too much cold, not enough heat units. So we keep experimenting with it, and I'd love to raise some form of bananas.
Nice. Because you like bananas?
I like bananas.
Okay.
No, not as good as beef.
Okay, yeah.
I really have a porch.
The banana's same. Are you pecans?
Yeah, we have pecans here on the farm.
Okay.
Pecans are wonderful. Pecans are indigenous to this ecosystem. And everything here eats pecans, except the chickens. The cows, hogs, sheep, goats, people, we all eat pecans. Pecans are good.
Oh, I had a pecan tree in my front yard in Arizona, shake tree. Yeah. But the husk, the pigs will eat the husk.
So they eat the pecan.
When do you mainly harvest pecans?
Yeah, it depends on the variety, but from September till Christmas.
Nice. So you do have a goal of 52 weeks of the year to be able to harvest something.
Sure.
And that extends you to December.
Yeah.
Okay, so bees, rabbits, what are the blue things? Flowers, or squash. It smells like basil. Hey, there's basil. We can know that. I smelled the basil. And then there's some Thai basil, I think, with the purple. I want to hear about your time in Africa.
So Zimbabwe, the furthest flight you can take from the Atlanta airport, and that's the furthest I've ever been from home, but it's the most at home I've ever felt.
Really?
I mean, Zimbabwe just felt just like this.
Yeah?
Kind of poor and kind of impoverished, very rural. It just felt, I could have just stayed there. I mean, I didn't want to, I want them home. But if I had to stay somewhere, I felt good there.
You gotta, were you surprised, or did you?
Yeah, I was shocked.
Shocked.
Shocked, yeah.
Were you able to translate anything you learned in Zimbabwe to here, like directly? Lots? Okay.
Yeah, a lot. It's just the way we interact with the cycles of nature.
The holistic management and the revitalization of grasslands, integrating livestock.
When I met Allan, I had already been doing this for a number of years, and I thought, I wouldn't have said it, but I thought I knew as much about this kind of farming as anybody on the planet. Thank God I didn't say it, because I didn't. I met Allan, and he just clearly was light years ahead of me. So I jumped at the opportunity to take that training.
It was a training, that's why you went out there. Okay. That makes me want to go to Africa, honestly.
It is great. It's great, you should go.
I want to go.
Yeah, you should go.
Farm Hero International.
We have guardian dogs, which is a whole different deal that we keep with our poultry and sheep and goats, and they're very essential. We need those badly.
The guardian dogs work at night.
They do. They're very nocturnal. They're very active at night, which is when the predators are out.
Okay.
Foxes and bobcats and coons and possums and
Coyotes?
eagles.
I was reading about that.
Or eating a lot of chickens.
Okay.
And the dogs, we're not helping a bit because they can go to the woods in the daytime, and that's when the eagles would come out. We fixed it by enclosing the dogs with the chickens, so they had to be with them, and that fixed the problem.
Let's carry on with my crazy idea of McDonald's approaching you and saying, Will Harris, McDonald's is gonna go to all regenerative ag beef by 2030. I get it. It's crazy, it's wild. I just wanna talk through it.
Those huge multinational food companies have built their business on efficiency and economy and low cost, and their customer base shops there because it's low cost. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that can be part of the solution, but realistically, I sure wouldn't want to gamble on that much.
Yeah. I know, it's wild and crazy, but you know, even as you describe the model of McDonald's with cheap food, but isn't that what we've done to the American food system and our food supply, and covering up costs and expenses and making it appear cheap by subsidies and other methodology?
There have been incredible technologies focused on making food cheap and taste good. And I don't think we put much effort into making it healthful and nutritious and good for the environment. And I think we got what we pay for it. I think I'm an expert in animal welfare. I think I'm an expert in environmental impact. I think I'm an expert in rural economies. I think that it's a mistake for folks like us to try to talk farmers into moving in this direction, because they can successfully move in this direction and go broke doing it. I think that the messaging needs to be to the consumer. I think that if we get the messaging to the consumer and create the demand, there'll be plenty of farmers that won't step up and fill the demand.
So if we achieve our goal to talk to the consumer, the demand goes up, they're gonna supply, they're gonna expand into demand, so that is a different look at it. If you have a farmer who says, look at all the demand, I want a piece of that, what can I do to get on that track, because the consumers are demanding it and they're outpacing our supply. How do I get onto the supply to satisfy that demand?
Yeah, so the farmer is ill-placed to create demand. The demand needs to come from folks like y'all talking to consumers, creating the demand. If the demand is created, then the farmers will figure it out. And there's enough of us that have done it to give assistance and aid. That part will happen. That part will be fine. What you got now, though, is in big ag and big food, messaging to the consumer that what we're providing for you is fine, just fine. This is just so much better for the land, better for the animal. They tell me it's better for the people, it's certainly better for the local economy. This is what we ought to be doing. And
Kind of a no-brainer.
Kind of a no-brainer, except that there are a lot of people making a lot of money with the system as it is now set up. And it's so convenient and easy for the consumer, and it's cheap. So there's a lot of obstacles in the way of making the transition.
What if McDonald's came to you and said, we want to go to all regenerative ag beef by 2030, whatever. Can you help us?
I couldn't even support the local McDonald's that we have. The throughput of all the beef that they use would put us at capacity immediately. There has to be a tremendous amount of work that goes in from an education perspective to the consumer so that they know I've got to pay more for it. because this is what all it's doing. What you're asking sounds crazy, but in theory should not be. It just explains how far we are from food production systems feeding their local communities.
The little town of Bluffton, founded in 1815, is right in the middle of my farm, geographically. And Bluffton had been a little trade center up until World War II. In World War II, it went into decline, as did many farming communities. And it was pretty much a ghost town by the time I started changing the way I farmed here in the mid-90s, early 2000s. And today I'm very pleased that Bluffton is now a nice little town. I'm very proud of Bluffton.
All right, so now we have to sell some.
All right, and the winner is